in this video I'm going to do a quick review of the Windows Phone 8.1 update that came out to developers a little over a month ago and is also being pushed out to devices in the coming months. So had about a month to play with it, and so I want to go over a couple of the major changes to it, as well as just give you my thoughts on the updates. So here we go. So the first thing you'll notice is the background of the phone. It can now contain an image. So instead of solid colors for each live tile, you can now have a background. And so when you go into the settings and theme, you'll see here you can now choose a photo, and you can select that photo to be your background image for the phone. And so it gives a nice cool little effect of your icons floating in front of the picture. You'll notice the background kind of moves a little bit too with it. So just a neat little effect. Some people may like it, some people may not. Alright, so one of the biggest changes that was made was the addition of the notification center. So now if you slide down from the top, you'll now see the new notification drop down that contains 4 customizable buttons, and then will also show all your notifications grouped by app. So if I had 10 Facebook notifications, they would all be grouped together. Like I said, these buttons up here can be customized by going to all settings and then going to notifications and actions, and you can change the program that those quick actions will show. And this is open to developers to add into, so that'll be pretty exciting as we can get more functionality there. Another major change, which I thought was great, was the redesigning of the calendar. So the calendar now has a nice week view. So you can see the entire week at a glance, and all you do is tap on a day and it expands that day to give you more details. You'll also see the weather, temperature, and a little icon representing the weather for each day. So just a little thing that added on there. And then just swiping through the weeks changes through that. So that was pretty nice. HTML5 support for YouTube. So now if you go to a YouTube video, normally when you played this before, it would play in the phone's player, and it would always be sideways, and you couldn't really do much with it. So now if you hit play, the video will play inside the page itself, while you can play it and still interact with the page. So that's great. And there will be other sites that'll be able to take advantage of that too. And also you can simply go full screen as well as before. Alright, another big change, well, not really a big change, but it's a very simple change, but it's huge. When you hold the back button to close down applications, you can now just swipe down to close, which may seem simple, but it really makes it easy to just quickly go through and close everything out. Alright, you have the new swipe keyboard. So let's do this. Is the new swipe keyboard. Oops, I got the plural of keyboards. But it does actually work really well. I can actually definitely type faster just using my 2 thumbs, but where I found it extremely helpful is if I'm, wanting to use just one hand, then versus typing like this. It is definitely much easier to use the swipe keyboard. To do that. Oops. Swipe. So, glad they had support for that. It's been kind of fun playing around with that. And I like how, you can immediately switch back and forth. So you can be using the swipe keyboard, and then you can switch right over into just typing. So you can definitely fluidly go back and forth with that. And then if you've noticed, behind this is the Cortana edition. This is probably one of the biggest hyped talking points of it, and it actually does very well. I would say it's definitely ahead of the Google Now, and it's definitely neck and neck with Siri. there's a few things that Siri can do that just seem to be cleaner, but there's a couple things in here that are pretty cool. Like you can ask or find the nearest pizza place, and then it'll give you a list, and you can say call the second place, and it'll immediately call. So it is getting very close. So I would argue that it is better than Siri, but there's a iOS 8 update coming out. We don't know what updates that's going to contain for Siri. So, but it's definitely pretty good. It is still considered beta, which is awesome too, that it does work so well, even in a beta edition. So those are some of the most major changes. So as far as my overall thoughts on Windows Phone 8.1, I know one other thing I didn't show you. On the home screen, you'll notice there's now room for 3 columns, or 6 columns of the smaller icons. It's a setting you can change. This is actually the Nokia icon. So this one always comes configured like this because of the resolution on the screen, but you can also take your lower resolution devices and force those icons on there, giving you much more screen space on each screen. So overall, I really have enjoyed it. I do often find myself using Cortana by just holding down the search button, and you can see it's immediately listening to me there. Or if I just tap the search button once, it just brings up the normal search, which the normal search now, which this used to be Bing, this is also now Cortana. So this is the same as doing a search or Cortana. So if I say something like remind me in here, it should, yep, what should I remind you about? But I can also just search for a normal Bing search. So I like that that's all integrated together now, creates everything from one place. And the difference between tapping and holding is when I just tap, it's waiting for me to input text-wise, which means she will not respond verbally. It's all via text, which is nice if you're in a meeting and you want to use Cortana. Or if I press and hold, then that activates the listening so she can listen for what I'm saying. I think the notification center was definitely huge, and the addition of Cortana. I don't find myself using the notification center that much. I usually just find myself swiping away the icons and, not really wanting to see them. I do, however, like these 4 buttons up here. I'd actually like to see another row of these and more things that could be tied into that. So it would be a quick place to maybe modify some settings. But I still find myself using the live tiles. That's one of the reasons I like Windows Phone, was just being able to see a quick summary of things going on. And then if there is a notification on any of these icons, just tapping and going into the app. But that just depends on how people use it. I don't know if this was an 8.1 update, being able to jump through applications like that. It may have been. I haven't been using it so long I can't remember if that was there before. But I definitely find myself using that feature. But it's possible that was already there. So overall, it's going to be exciting to see this start rolling out to devices. I hope that Microsoft is able to work with phone providers to get it pushed out on all their devices that support Windows 8 or Windows Phone 8. That is one thing that I think iPhone has, is that their upgrades always come out to all their devices for the most part. Obviously, their older devices aren't able to get it. But that's a problem Android has had, is that they often can't get the updates out in a timely fashion. So I hope that they're able to do that. It is a great update. So that's my quick overview and thoughts on Windows Phone 8.1. Thank you for watching.